Hello and welcome to another Monday meetup. Today we are going to be doing Meet Your Future International Student Advisors. So today we'll be covering plenty of topics about how our team at Lakehead University can support our future international students when they arrive on campus. And then this team is also dedicated to help you as you transition from your home country to Lakehead. So they're part of that transition process. So today I am joined by a few people. I am joined by Patrick Carr. He is an international recruitment officer. So there he is on camera now. I'm also joined by Lateefah, Laura, and Vijay, which are both international student advisors from the Thunder Bay campus. And lastly, I'm joined by Katie Fraser from the Aurelia campus, and she is the international engagement specialist. So we have quite a full house now. Quite a few people probably on your screen. You can see them on your right most likely, depending on how your setup is. So what I will do today is I'll jump right into it. I'll talk about some of the guidelines to the webinar and just walk you through the easy stuff, and then we'll get right into the material. So things to remember: if you like what you're seeing, of course, don't worry, we're going to be sending out a link of the recording afterwards. So if you have to head out after asking your question, but you want to go back and watch the end, or vice versa, if you join us at the end but you missed the beginning, don't worry, you'll get that recording. If you join us and stay and watch the whole thing, but you want to watch it again, or you want to watch that one question and answer one more time, don't worry again. Like I said, that recording will be accessible to you. And we encourage you to ask as many questions as you would like. Speaking of questions, you can use the Q&A function to submit your questions. The Q&A function will allow us to filter all questions and answer them in order. So I will be moderating and passing those questions on to our specialists, or Lakehead experts as I like to call them. And we also have a team of dedicated Lakehead experts behind the scenes answering your questions. So even though we may not get to it live necessarily, we do have people answering behind the scenes, typing out those answers, providing you more information, all that sort of stuff. My last reminder is to stay connected. Follow us on social media for updates about future webinars, but also you get an insider sneak peek about Lakehead. We post lots about the student experience. We give you a realistic preview of the university based on what the students send us. So our Instagram is really heavily focused on reposting content from our own students. So you see it through the eyes of a current Lakehead student. If you do have any questions, like I said, start using the Q&A function. And I will move on to the first slide, and I'll pass it off to Laura Puttis to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Laura Puttis, and I'm an International Student Advisor with the International Student Services Department. I was born and raised in Thunder Bay, and I'm also a graduate of Lakehead University myself. And I've been with the International Student Services Department for almost 4 years now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. I will now pass it off to Lateefah to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. My name is Lateefah Olatunde, and I'm also an international student advisor. I live in Thunder Bay, Ontario, but prior to living in Thunder Bay, I used to reside in Vancouver, but I'm originally from Nigeria. I work at the international office to help international students with transitioning and support. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lateefah. So I'll pass it off to Vijay to end off our Thunder Bay folks. I think you're muted, Vijay, there.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Vijay Babu, and I'm one of the international student advisors at Lakehead University. Thank you for joining us today. I'm from Chennai in India, and I'm also a past graduate of Lakehead University from the Computer Science Master's program. And it's good to meet you all today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vijay. And last but not least, I'm going to pass it over to Katie holding down the fort in Aurelia.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. So glad to see good numbers today. I'm Katie, and I work at the Aurelia campus. I work with all of our international students in the ELC program and those coming for degrees. I, like Laura and many others, I'm born and raised in Aurelia, and I did my undergraduate degree at the Aurelia campus, and been hanging out at Lakehead Aurelia since 2007. So I look forward to working with everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. So I am actually going to start the conversation off. And once again, I'll encourage everyone who has a question for our advisors while we have them live here, please do so by using the Q&A function. As well, we have Patrick Carr, who is an international recruitment officer, and myself. We can answer questions regarding a variety of topics. So even if it's not related necessarily to the advising services or our advisors specifically, please ask away, and we'll be happy to either answer live right here, right now, or get you that answer through text. So I will speak about academic advising a bit, and then I'll pass it off to our advisors team to maybe chat a bit about what they do in each of their campuses. So academic advising is a support service that we provide to our students. So of course, we understand that when students get to campus, they might be a bit confused about where they want to go within their program. So they might have 3 or 4 mandatory courses that they must take. And then after that, they can register to 1 or 2 electives. And so we're here to help you and support you in that advising and that academic journey. And we can help make recommendations. We can ensure that you're enrolled in the proper classes, and we can help you enroll too. So maybe I'll pass it off to one of the Thunder Bay advisors to speak to some of the academic advising that they help with, and then I'll let Katie chime in too and chat about that as well. So maybe I'll pass it off to Laura first.
Sounds good.
Okay,
So one of the big aspects of our role to support you on campus is to provide you with academic advising and make sure that you're academically successful and have all the supports that you need during your time at LU. So this starts usually with assistance with course registration. It's one of the biggest questions that we get from students prior to arrival. So over the spring summer months, we'll be running Fast Pass webinars if you're planning to join us in September. And these webinars will show you exactly how to register for your courses, figure out which courses you need to register for, and introduce you to our MyInfo system, which is where most of these steps happen. Further along as you're studying, we can also connect you with the different academic support services on our campuses. Katie will speak to the ones in Aurelia, but for Thunder Bay, we do have peer tutoring, regular tutoring, a writing center, a math center, and a lot more supports that can help you, really be academically strong during your time here and transition to the new academic system here at Lakehead. So any questions you have related to academics, any concerns, we're always here to chat with you and put you in touch with the right supports.
Awesome. And then I'll pass it over to Katie to speak to that. I know it's a very similar process over there in Aurelia, and we provide very similar services in Aurelia, but I'll still give her the opportunity to chat a bit about it too.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I work really closely with our Student Central professionals and enrollment services staff to make sure that students have all the resources they need so that your courses are all locked in and you're comfortable in them. And then on the student success and support side, we also have Student Success Center resources here in Aurelia, and we work very closely to make sure that international students have their needs addressed. So always a great starting place, and I can refer you to any of the services that you need for more specialized expertise.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we do have a question in the chat. It comes, it is with regards to orientation. So the question is, when we first arrive at campus, do we have an orientation week? So I will pass that off to maybe Lateefah, I believe, and she can speak to the orientation. And then Katie can also chat about orientation. And really, I know that both teams are working very hard right now to revamp orientation and look at what that looks like to make it even more engaging and exciting for our new incoming students.
Absolutely. Yes, in Thunder Bay, we do have an orientation week. We have the general campus-wide orientation, and we also have the international orientation. So this is specifically for international students, knowing that, you all have unique needs. So we like to give you all that information then. Orientation is always fun. You get to meet the advisors, you get to meet other students, you get to meet other supporting staffs, and you get to meet other students as well in Thunder Bay. So we do have orientation week when you arrive in Thunder Bay. on campus, and look forward to it.
Awesome, thank you. And then I'll pass it off to Katie to maybe chat about Aurelia's orientation too.
Yep, so very similar to Thunder Bay. The first thing that you'll do after moving into your place on campus or off campus, we do the specialized international student orientation, where we would cover questions and information around things like your health insurance, UHIP or GuardMe. We'd talk about our immigration supports and other specialized services for international students. And then following that, we put you right into campus-wide orientation that all first-year students are joining in on, for a lot more of the social aspects, fun activities, student life programming, and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I will pass it off to Patrick Carr now. He's gonna answer a few of the questions in the Q&A right now.
So just a couple of questions regarding the current global situation. As I think everyone is aware, COVID-19, the coronavirus, has caused pretty significant disruptions to all of us and all of you. And so at Lakehead University, we're currently working through what it looks like now. No decisions. So one of the questions is about fall intake changing due to COVID-19. Right now, we're hoping that fall semester can go ahead. What I would advise everyone to do is to take a look at the lakeheadu.ca/about/coronavirus page, as all of the really pertinent information is posted on that page as new decisions are made. Our senior management team is meeting every week to look at all of the options and make decisions in everyone's best interest. But I would encourage you right now to continue your applications as normal and to work towards planning to attend school in the fall. In addition, there was a question about payments and deposits and just not being able to get to a bank due to the lockdowns currently in place in different countries globally. We've committed at Lakehead University to working with all of our applicants on a one-on-one basis and doing our best to make everyone's lives a bit easier. So I'd encourage you to reach out to us at welcome@lakeheadu.ca and let us know your situation, and we'll work with you to make sure that you can continue your application. And as life gets back to normal around the world, we'll just work seamlessly towards the goal of you coming to Lakehead.
Awesome, thank you so much, Patrick. So I do have another question from a student. Do you provide info regarding housing accommodations at campus or off campus? So I'm not sure who the best advisor in Thunder Bay is to speak to that, but I'm gonna pass it off to Katie first to chat about housing accommodations on campus as well as off campus in Aurelia, and then we'll follow up with Thunder Bay.
Awesome. So we always highly recommend and encourage you to look at all of our different on-campus housing options. It is probably the best experience and the way to make the most use of the different supports and resources that are available to you on campus. So in Aurelia, we only have one option for on-campus housing, one residence building. In Thunder Bay, we have a couple different options. So I would definitely recommend that you head to our website and check out those different links and the application forms and the different expenses that are included within those options. If you are seeking off-campus housing, we understand that everyone has their own unique circumstances, and that may be something you're looking into. Lakehead has an off-campus housing website, but we aren't able to answer too many of your questions as we don't have an official off-campus housing option for you that is administered through the university. So again, visit the website, check out our on-campus housing options, and if you have questions about those, you can reach out to your advisors or you can reach out to residence life staff.
Awesome, and then I'll let a Thunder Bay advisor follow up with on-campus housing options as well as off-campus housing options. So maybe I'll pass it off to Laura.
Sure. So we also, like Katie said, in the Aurelia campus, we strongly encourage students to stay on campus for their first year at Lakehead for a variety of reasons. As Katie mentioned, it's a great way to, get involved with different campus engagement, great way to make friends. It's a safe and secure place to live. And you're also, connected to other new students as well. So we, before every intake, send a welcome package by email, and this details all of the different housing options, so both on and off campus. So for students opting to live on campus, it's a simple web application, and then after a few weeks, your application is processed and you're allocated a room. We have a few different options for on-campus housing. The most common is the townhouse and apartment style options, which are great because you have your own private bedroom, it's fully furnished, and then you share a unit with usually 3 other students. So you'll have 3 roommates, your own private bedroom, but a shared kitchen, shared bathroom, and a shared living space. So those are the most common for international students. Obviously, if you're looking off campus, the options range widely. You can look for studio apartments, 1-bedroom apartments, or shared housing as well. I do think it's very important because, you know, you're away, you won't be able to see your off-campus housing in person. If you are looking to live off campus because it's cheaper, or maybe you have friends that you want to live off campus with, try and connect with different landlords and do video tours of the unit, just so you know it's a clean and good place to live. You can always reach out to the international student advisors if you're looking at a place but you're not sure about the location. Feel free to email us and connect with us about that, and we can further guide you.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I do have a question from a student. Where can I access the recording session from last Friday? They said that they missed it, they weren't able to join us. So for our Lakehead International Lives, we do have a YouTube playlist. So if you visit our YouTube channel, which is just simply Lakehead University, and you go into our playlists, look for the playlist called Lakehead International Live. All of our previous recorded webinars are accessible online right there as well. If you received an invite by email to one of these webinars, you will, at the end of the week, receive a link to all of the recordings for this week. So that's when we do send the recordings. When we send out the new invite for next week, you get this week's recordings. So I will pass off a question to Vijay. The question was, can you explain more about co-op opportunities? What role does the university play in providing job opportunities?
There are several co-op opportunities for Lakehead students, like in Thunder Bay as well as in Toronto. Like even I did my co-op here in Thunder Bay. So we have a dedicated co-op office with a co-op officer who will be helping you with preparing your resumes, your how to participate in interviews and discussions. Like we have an entire training module on how to apply for co-op, and our dedicated student success center professionals will be helping you with that. And to be honest, like there are lots and lots of co-op opportunities. All you have to do is keep applying and seek guidance when needed.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm going to pass it off to Patrick. I see there's a few questions that he's able to answer in the Q&A, so I'll pass it off to him now.
All right, so we've got a few more questions about the kind of the global situation and operations here at Lakehead University. The first one is about offer letters and if we're still sending them out. So we've learned over the past few weeks that global mail in some countries has ceased to operate. But I just want to let every Lakehead student know 2 things. 1, we're working on sending digital offer letter packages, and 2, offer letters are currently and always available in your MyInfo account. So you can log on to your MyInfo account, which is where you would have uploaded your documents when you applied, and you can print off a digital PDF of your offer letter at all times. So that's a good way to get a hold of your offer letter, and all of our communication goes through and works with your Lakehead University email and MyInfo.
And also to speak to that, if you're downloading your offer letter right from your MyInfo account, that also guarantees that it's the most up-to-date or recent version of the offer. So of course, prior to the current situation, we were sending our offer packages, at least for undergrad, via the mail. You got a really nice welcome package, and we loved sending those. However, with the delay in shipping, as it's famously referred to as snail mail, that offer may get to you and already be slightly outdated. You may have received one. We may have removed the conditions, for example. There might be an update on status, all that sort of stuff. So we always encourage students to check their MyInfo, monitor their MyInfo for their application status, first of all, to see whether there is an updated status on their application. And of course, if you do have a letter, then we encourage you to access it and download it right from MyInfo, because like I said, it is the most recent or up-to-date version.
Yeah, so Jordan, just a couple of quick questions here about how to pay your fees with the current lockdowns in place in different countries, and how a student can pay their fees. So there are a number of ways, and I'll post a link in the chat about the variety of ways a Lakehead applicant can pay their fees. But if there is a problem you're facing, banks are closed, or you're currently confined to your house and you can't do those kinds of activities right now, please email us. And like I said earlier, we've really committed to working with all of our applicants to ensure flexibility so that the COVID-19 public health crisis doesn't derail your ability to come to Lakehead in the fall. And just on a note about finances, if for whatever reason you do pay your fees and you are not able to attend in the fall, we've committed to refunding those fees as well. So we're very flexible and we're very student focused here at Lakehead University, and we're doing our best to make sure that everyone can work towards their goal of achieving post-secondary education this September. And then the last thing about you know, could we attend orientation if we're unable to reach Canada due to the current conditions? That's an evolving situation. Like I said earlier, the senior management team at Lakehead has been meeting every week to make decisions that's in everyone's best interests. And if for whatever reason classes aren't in person, or we expect significant travel delays for our incoming international students, we'll communicate our alternative plans to you via email, and of course on the website listed below, which is lakeheadu.ca/about/coronavirus. Be sure it's on all of our minds, but it's hard to predict the future, as I'm sure everyone listening can appreciate.
Awesome. So the next few questions that I'm going to pass off to Lateefah are related to graduate funding. So the first one is, how do you apply for graduate assistantship if you already have an offer for Masters of Science? And then the second question that I'll pass off to Lateefah is very similar. What are the funding options for international graduate students? The graduate funding page is a bit confusing.
Right. So in regards to the graduate assistantship, you're not required to apply for it. So this is being assessed by the grad studies. And if you do qualify for that, it gets automatically sent with your acceptance letter. So it's not something that you're required to apply for. If you do qualify, it gets assessed by graduate studies, and then it gets sent to you with your offer letter. So the second question, what's the second question, Jordan?
Oh, sorry. The second question was just, can you give a bit of details around graduate funding for international students?
So we have the graduate funding for our international student varies. So we have a graduate funding officer, her name is Megan Lavelle, and there's also a link which you can apply for various funding depending on which applies to you. So there are various ones. It varies depending on your program, depending on your status and things like that. So I would encourage that you look at the various funding option and then apply, and it will get assessed by Megan Lavelle, which is the graduate funding officer, and then she will reach out to you.
For sure. And then if you do want, you can reach out to us at email, welcome@lakeheadu.ca, and we'd be happy to connect you with the Graduate Studies Office or even Megan, so that you can help discuss some of the funding options. Maybe you can be connected with Megan and then ask her some pointed questions as to which scholarships, bursaries, awards, that sort of stuff are available for international students.
Absolutely. I encourage all students to ask, because if you don't ask, you never know. So it's good to ask.
Awesome. And Lateefah, while I have you, I will also get you to answer the question, are there any networking events at the university? So could you speak to some of the events in general that we have where students can network?
Yeah, there are tons and tons of networking events that I know Lakehead runs. We have employer events where they bring various employers in Thunder Bay to come into the university to talk about, how they employ and what they offer, the services that they have, depending on your program. So Lakehead has that every term at least. So they bring in various employers just so they can connect students with the community, and then you can know the options that are available for you, because sometimes it can be hard, being on Indeed, but when you're able to see those people in person and actually like connect with them, sometimes I know that some students tend to even get job that way too. So there are various networking opportunities and networking events that Lakehead tends to run for students each academic semester.
Awesome, thank you so much. So another question we have, how is Thunder Bay connected to the rest of Ontario? Are there any commuting options? So Thunder Bay is a short 90-minute flight from Toronto. The Thunder Bay International Airport is only about 10-15 minutes from campus by driving. So as soon as students arrive in Thunder Bay, it's a short ride to either their on-campus residence, or we like to say that you can kind of get anywhere in Thunder Bay within 30 minutes. So depending on which side of the city you live on and exactly where you are located, when you do arrive in Thunder Bay, it should be a brief ride in one of our taxis, one of our ride sharing services, maybe a friend is picking you up. And then of course, if you do want to adventure, you want to explore Ontario, maybe go to Toronto for a bit, and you are on a Thunder Bay campus. Again, like I said, it's that short ride to the airport, about 10-15 minutes, and then it's only a 90-minute flight to Toronto, and then Toronto, of course, connects you to the world, and they have hundreds of international destinations. So that's a great time to obviously utilize the access to that connection to Toronto and maybe explore on your reading week, your spring break, academic breaks. Yeah. And then the second part of that question, are there any commuting options? So I'll speak to maybe commuting options within each city. So our students at Lakehead that are studying at an undergraduate level are provided bus passes both on the Thunder Bay campus and our Aurelia campus. The bus pass is already built into your fees structure. And then if you are a graduate student, you can simply purchase that bus pass for one full year at an extremely discounted rate. And then you have access to that. You can use it as much as you want, as little as you want, as often as you want, and for however long you want too. So you get it for the 1 year, and you can ride the bus for hours on end if you so choose. If that's how you would like to spend your day, we encourage you to do whatever makes you happy, of course. So I will pass off a question to Katie. It is a question regarding co-op. So could you please give input on co-op options for Bachelor of Commerce of Honors out of the Aurelia campus? So I don't expect Katie to maybe know the exact businesses that students are being placed in on the Aurelia campus, but she could speak to co-op in general, especially with business.
Yeah, so I can speak to a couple of different instances from past students at the Aurelia campus. So business is the most popular program amongst international students, and we do have a very active business faculty in Aurelia. We have a good relationship with our local Chamber of Commerce, which is the connection to many different businesses within the city of Aurelia. So they are very supportive of Lakehead students. And then in the past, they've helped facilitate lots of different placements. One of which, most recently, we had a business student complete a placement with the Community Development Corporation, which is a local agency that is in charge of supporting the launch of local businesses, special funding to start new businesses, projects for expansion. They provide those different supports to the entrepreneurs locally. So that's just one example, but it really depends on what the students' interests are. And we strongly encourage you to talk with all of your faculty and as well as your business chair so that you can work out a placement opportunity that's of specific interest to you and is going to let you expand on the skills that you're really passionate about learning.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm actually going to pass off the next question to Vijay. The question is, could you please let us know what are the subjects that we can go through in Masters of Computer Science? So I know Vijay is a graduate of our computer science here at Lakehead, so I know he can speak to it from personal experience, but also as an advisor now too.
Thanks, Jordan. Some of the subjects which are offered in the computer science graduate program are computer security, but there is a big focus on big data, which is one of the most trending technologies right now. So we have subjects like big data, introduction to data science, web health informatics, which deals with how data analytics can be used for health services and industry. We also have computer networks, computer security. We also have a grad seminar course where we'll be trained on how to present your project. Machine learning is also another course along with artificial intelligence. So these are some of the main core courses which you'll be pursuing as part of your computer science master's program here.
Awesome. And so for those students that are interested in learning about the specializations, the subjects, the courses that they could be studying, I do encourage you to visit our website, lakeheadu.ca/programs. And once you're on there, you can access upcoming courses. So for example, we do list for our undergraduate programs an idea of what your first year courses will look like. As well, on our graduate studies page, you can access all the specializations, all of the subjects or topics that you can learn within your master's, whether you're doing course-based, project-based, or thesis-based. So I have another question here from a student. What are the rents for on-campus and off-campus? Students from abroad face difficulties while searching and booking rooms. So speaking to on-campus, the price varies depending on what option you pick. So on our Thunder Bay campus, we do have 3 different housing options, 2 of which are standalone apartment style or townhouse style rooms, and they do not include a meal plan, but they do have a full kitchen accessible to all the roommates within that unit. So it's based on what you want to cook. So you might be dedicated to cooking your meals every single day. You might want to buy a small meal plan to help you out every once in a while, or you might still want to pick one of those options, but fully be on the meal plan. That's totally up to you. And then we do have a dorm style option on Thunder Bay campus where meal plans are mandatory. And then speaking to our Aurelia campus, all of our options on Aurelia campus are dorm style. Where you and one other person have a shared bathroom, but you still get your private bedroom space. And then those are on set meal plans already. There are cooking facilities that you can rent out. So say, for example, if you still have a craving, your favorite recipe from home, and you just want to make it for your friends one weekend, you can book out the kitchen within the entire residence facility, and you can prep that meal and you can do a little bit of home cooking. But like I said, the meal plan is required on our Aurelia campus as well. Speaking to off-campus options, prices range again based on what you pick. So you could pick a 2-bedroom apartment, you could pick an entire house that has 4 bedrooms, and then you need to find a few roommates, or you could be that person that also just rents a single room. So options do vary quite widely. I'll reiterate what all of our advisors have said so far about off-campus housing. Although we are not able to facilitate the off-campus housing and finding those houses because we can't make the decision for you as to if you're gonna like it, if you're gonna be comfortable there, if that's the best choice for you. So what we do encourage is, of course, communicate often with the person that you are looking at renting from, and also consider doing a virtual tour of the house so that you get to see where you will be living, and you'll get a good idea of what it looks like while you're on maybe FaceTime, a Zoom call similar to this, Skype, any one of those options. So I have another question. Are there any student security or health issues? So I will pass this off maybe to Laura, and then she can speak to how we support our students through health concerns, security, all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. So regarding security, yes, we have security that is on our campus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're always accessible to students by phone or by visiting security, and they run a lot of different programs as well. So things like Lost and Found they also have a mobile app where you can be connected to security through your phone and access their services online. They also have a safe walk home service, which is great. So if you're studying late at night on our campus and you want someone to escort you back to your residence room or to the bus stop, security is happy to do that as well. And they're very, very committed to keeping our campus very safe. Regarding health, we do have a student health and wellness center on our campus. It is open for all students, and you can either see a doctor for a medical appointment there, as well as a counselor. So all students are eligible to receive health and counseling services. You just need to check in with your student ID, and you can make an appointment by either visiting the center or through phone. Aside from the health and counseling center, through the International Student Services Office, we're happy to provide counseling as well. So if you ever just need to talk or you're feeling stressed, having trouble transitioning, we are here to listen, and we're happy to help as well.
Awesome. And then I'll also let Katie chat about the Aurelia services too, because I know they're quite similar, but I do want to give her the opportunity, of course, to cover everything Aurelia does.
Thank you. I was going to add, for both the Aurelia and Thunder Bay campuses, we also have the international emergency phone lines. So there's a number for Thunder Bay and a number for Aurelia. When you call these numbers, you can expect to get the response from one of the faces that you're seeing on your screen today. So that's always another option for you too. Of course, if it is an emergency, we would encourage you to contact the emergency services that are available in your community, but that international emergency phone line is also available to you too. So similar to Thunder Bay, our security services team is also 24/7. There's always at least 2 guards on at all times. They are also our first responders on campus. So they can provide assistance with basic first aid needs. If you have a really small injury that's not really an emergency, say you have an allergic reaction to something, they can provide some initial assessment. They're also trained in mental health first aid. So if you are in crisis, they are great people to talk to. They're always there, and they can get you connected with the most appropriate campus or community service as well. We also have health and wellness services at the Aurelia campus, so personal counseling, male and female trained counselors available for you, a nurse practitioner, a naturopathic doctor, and a chiropractor. And our health and wellness office can also refer you to community resources if those aren't fulfilling your needs.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm going to pass it off again to Laura. She had marked a question with regards to total terms and the overview of subjects. So I'll let her chat about that. Laura, if you wouldn't mind just reiterating the full question too in your answer.
Sure. One moment. I'm just going to find it.
No worries.
So I believe the question was just about how do I know which courses to take during my time and for each semester? And all of these answers can be found in our academic calendar. So to view the academic calendar just from the main lakeheadu.ca webpage, under the, let me just see. So if you go to the bottom of the page, the first link in a row of different links is the academic calendar. It's right above the My Course link. And on this page, you'll be able to select your specific program, whether you're an undergrad student or a master's student. You'll pull up your program page and it will tell you all of the courses and the course codes that you need to take throughout your entire degree. So first semester, second semester, first year, second year, it's all listed there, and this calendar is updated every single year. So if you're starting in 2020, you'll go by the fall 2020 academic calendar, and this will guide you in which courses to register for.
Awesome. And I'll reiterate also what Laura said. So in the summertime, we do offer Fast Pass webinars. So those webinars are dedicated to helping international students register for the proper courses. So we'll walk through and individually have students based on if they're starting in a specific program in the fall. We'll have all those students join us for that one webinar, and we'll encourage them to walk through all the processes and get prepared to register and submit that registration to enrollment services. So then they are enrolled in those classes by the time they already get to campus. So then there should be no issues with capacities within the course itself, or courses maybe. We always encourage to register sooner than later, of course, so that you can get your preferred time slots, and also you can get your electives that you want, because of course, given that some electives are just more popular than others, they do fill up quicker. So we always encourage, start planning it out as soon as you know. As soon as you've accepted your offer, you can be looking and monitoring that course calendar for as soon as when the 2020 academic calendar is released. So I will pass it off to Patrick. He's going to answer a few more questions And then I do want to just let everyone know, so we are at 10:45 a.m. Thunder Bay time. So we do have 15 more minutes with all of our advisors. They've dedicated an entire hour to answering your questions and being live with us today. So if you do have any questions, please submit them in the Q&A. If we don't get to answer those questions live, I do apologize. We do already have quite a few in there. But you can always email us at welcome@lakeheadu.ca. It is the email at the bottom of your screen right now, but otherwise I'll pass it off to Patrick.
All right, so just a couple quick questions about the situation here in Canada and the coronavirus and COVID-19. If you're not able to send your documents because post and mail is shut down in your country, please connect with us via email. The email is listed at the bottom of this page, and we'll get your documents uploaded digitally and work with you to make sure that your application assessment goes as according to plan as best as we can. Like I said earlier, we're being very flexible with all of our applicants in terms of documents and application fees. Now, there are a couple questions that kind of fall under the bigger category of what happens if COVID-19 persists into the fall. And no decisions have been made yet for students and where our fall semester is currently going to be. Our senior management team meets every week to kind of plan and make decisions in everyone's best interests. So again, stay tuned to your email. Check out lakeheadu.ca/about/coronavirus and look there for announcements as they come up. There's new information posted almost daily. We understand that it's a very, it's unprecedented. It's an unprecedented situation with global impact. And so there's lots of decisions still to be made, but we are encouraging all of our applicants to continue the process of preparing to come to Canada like they normally would. And as new information comes up, you'll be the first to know.
Awesome. So I'm going to pass off a question to Lateefah. The question is, are there any ways for an international undergraduate student to receive funding other than the automatic entrance scholarship?
Yeah, absolutely. Besides the entrance scholarships, although there are quite limited options for international students, but we have a program called My Awards, whereby certain scholarships and awards for undergraduate students open up each year. So you can view this My Awards under your My Info portal. But you have to keep in mind that these awards can only be viewed by students that have been admitted and have accepted their offer of admission. So once you've done that, then you'll be able to see the listing of funding on My Awards and how to apply to them.
Awesome. And I know that that answers a few of your questions. So there's a student when to apply for scholarships, and how to check if you've received them. So for undergraduate students, there is the automatic entrance scholarship. So there's no need to apply to that when you're automatically considered. Our scholarships and financial aid office, they will review with our admissions team in undergraduate admissions to see what scholarship you do meet, and then we will send you an offer with that scholarship attached to it. As Lateefah just mentioned, though, for scholarships that you have to apply to after you've accepted your offer to Lakehead, those are accessible. And then there's deadlines for each individual offer. So make sure to write down those sorts of details. So as you start to apply for these scholarships, or if you see one, you're not prepared to apply just this second, but you see one, make sure to make a note of when the deadline to apply is, because those deadlines are forthcoming and they don't change, but they're not a set date typically. They do vary. So some might require it in 2 weeks from now. Some might require it in 3 months from now. So I always encourage you to write those sort of details down, set reminders in your phone, that sort of stuff. And
another good news and something else to keep in mind is your entrance scholarships are renewable, right? So if you do keep up your average and just keep up the good work, you would always get that discount each year. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Awesome. And Lateefah, I know you had already marked the next question as well as one you would like to answer about part-time jobs in Thunder Bay. So I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of part-time jobs in Thunder Bay. There are a lot of their services jobs that students are welcomed and encouraged to apply. Employers are always looking for people, part-time jobs, and they know that, a lot of our international students are very amazing, dedicated individuals. So, we just have to tailor up your resume for it to be worthy. and then you're okay to apply. So there are various jobs that you can apply to in Thunder Bay. A lot of international students don't struggle in finding jobs because there's just so many. So I encourage you to apply. And if you have any questions, or if you need any help with your resume, cover letter, or anything, we're here to help and support you. And we also have a career zone that also helps students with that.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I do see a question in there, and I really like to see this sort of stuff. Can you do a whole webinar on co-op and placement and give in-depth details about the minimum requirements, some data about past students which have scored good opportunities? So that actually falls to me, of course. That's within the realm of my role. I would be happy to connect with our Student Success Center and have someone join us live to chat about co-op. I've been working closely with the co-op officer because in our office, International Enrollment, we recently hired a co-op student to help us with data analysis, and she is studying economics, the student that we did hire. So I'll connect with the co-op office and I'll start to arrange that webinar. I do encourage you again to follow our social media for regular updates about our webinar. As well, we will be sending out more invites via email. So please check your Lakehead email as well as your your personal email that you used on your application on a regular basis, because we will be sending updates regarding all of the upcoming events that we have. So we have a few more questions. I see more still coming in, rolling in. We have 10 more minutes or so before our advisors all have to head out and get to their advising, I should say. And they're hosting plenty of new exciting events themselves right now. So I don't want to keep them too long. Just give me 1 second to read some of these Q&As and make sure I can filter them properly here. Alrighty, so I'm going to pass this first one off to Patrick. I know he's probably fielded questions similar to this in the market when he's recruiting, but of course he may not know the best answer necessarily. So I do encourage you also to reach out to us by email. So it is, I'm pursuing a mechanical engineering degree. Is there any specific thing that I need to know, like something I may need to bring or buy when I reach the university?
So, you know, there's a lot of things I would recommend you buy or have as a student, but I don't know if I would advise you to bring them with you in terms of your academics. In the mechanical engineering program, a lot of your studies are a combination of pen and paperwork, as well as needing a computer to type reports and prepare documents that way. So you're going to want to have a fairly reliable laptop with you. We get this question a lot about computers. If you're shopping for a new computer, you may want to consider waiting till you arrive in Canada to ensure that the power supply is compatible with Canadian power outlets. Different countries use different standards that way, and you would hate to spend a lot of money on a computer to only have it not really work properly here in Canada. When you come to Canada, part of orientation and part of your first few days in class, especially as an undergraduate program, will be professors giving you the requirements that you need for each class in terms of textbooks, which can be bought on campus, in terms of supplies, specific things you need for your program, and just generally. Also, when you move into residence, as you prepare to move into residence will provide you a list of kind of living essentials that they provide and that they don't provide. And so it's good to consult that list too, because some of that stuff you can bring from home.
Mm-hmm. And also speaking to some of the things that you might want to bring from home, or you might want to buy when you arrive here. When you do get here in Thunder Bay, both of our campuses are located very closely to your basic essentials for shopping. So whether you want to buy some pillows, your bed sheets in Thunder Bay, or really you want to buy your first round of food or snacks, all that sort of stuff you can get when you first come to Thunder Bay. As I said, we're located very close to several different shopping areas on either one of our campuses. And it is very accessible, so students can head out and get that right away when they get here. And there's no need to take up extra precious space in your suitcase, because I know you'll want to pack plenty of clothes. Of course, we'll be doing more transition webinars as we get closer to those entry dates or intake dates. And we'll have these same advisors in some cases joining us to speak to those what to pack, what not pack, how to book your travel, all that sort of stuff. So again, stay tuned, follow us on social media for regular updates about future webinars. So I do have a question here regarding unconditional offer letters, documentation, based on the current situation, most of Lakehead working remotely. We are using a required on-site working model. So only staff that have been deemed essential for the Ontario government are allowed to be on campus working. The rest of us are working remotely from home. All of us on the screen right now are at home, safe and sound. But for this question, it says, is Lakehead University provide an unconditional offer based on uploaded documents? I sent my documents, including a graduate degree, a TOEFL certificate, in order to receive an unconditional offer. However, the university staff can't check the mail due to the lockdown. So to speak to that, that is correct. In some cases, our offices are not able to be receiving mail and checking those official documents that are in sealed envelopes and whatnot. But rest assured, we are still receiving the mail for the university. So our mail services department is still receiving all that mail. They are collecting it and they are storing it. They're just not providing it to the different offices necessarily. So that at that point, when we are able to access mail again, your documents will be there for us and we will process those as fast as we can. But for uploaded documents, as far as I know, unconditional offer letters are not being provided for uploaded documents. But as Patrick has mentioned, and I'll reiterate again, we are working with each individual applicant on a per user basis to make sure that the process is clear and that we can meet your needs and also satisfy our requirements. So I'm going to pass off the next question to Vijay. I do see that we have about 3 or 4 minutes left on the webinar, so we'll only have time for maybe a question or two more. So I'll pass it off to Vijay at this point.
So a student had asked a question about the job opportunities for students in computer science after their master's program. So we do have quite a considerable number of companies here in Thunder Bay, like Healthy Effects, Resolute Forest Products. Like these are some of the startups. We also have Sentia. Even the Regional Health Sciences Center here hires computer science grads, and but majority of the job opportunities you see are in big cities like Toronto. But in Thunder Bay, the environment for computer science grads is evolving, and more opportunities are coming up for them.
Awesome, thank you so much. So at this point, I see a few more questions that we're going to answer live. I'll pass this one off to Laura if possible. As an international student, can I apply for scholarships before coming to the university if I got admitted into a master's program?
So no, I don't believe there is an application process for scholarships prior to admission. I think GAs are issued upon admission. There are a limited number of awards and bursaries that you can apply for prior to beginning your studies at Lakehead University. If you visit the website myawards.lakeheadu.ca, you can find out more information about these, but they are quite limited to my knowledge.
Awesome, and then I'll pass the last question off to Patrick, who's going to speak about working days at the university.
Yeah, just really quickly, how many days a week is a working day in the university, and then part-time jobs? So if I'm understanding you correctly, the average undergraduate student spends 15 to 18 hours in class or labs, depending on the program. Some students can spend more, so keep that in mind. And then you have to budget a fair amount of time outside the classroom for reading or labs or other work. And then with part-time jobs in Canada, international students are allowed to work 20 hours a week on or off campus. And I think, like it's been said a few times in this webinar, many of our students do work part-time and are able to balance both being a full-time student with working part-time and doing all of their other labs and reading and classwork that they have to get done. So yeah, 20 hours a week is considered part-time, and that's a legal requirement from the Government of Canada.
Awesome, so thank you so much. At this point, I see that there are still a few questions in there. I do apologize that we're not able to get to them today, but at this point, please do send us your questions at welcome@lakeheadu.ca. That is our direct email. We will answer as soon as we can. We are monitoring it throughout the week. If we can't provide you the answer necessarily, we will be happy to connect you with the proper department to do so. I will chat a bit about our social media. So we do have a Facebook page, Lakehead University International. If you go to our Facebook page, we also have a group started for incoming class of 2020. So that's all students that have been admitted into Lakehead and intend on coming to Lakehead. We encourage you to join that Facebook group on our Facebook page, Lakehead University International. We have future students joining that on a daily basis. They're making connections, they're asking questions, they're finding roommates, they're making friends. They're even noticing students within their own city that are applying. So they have the opportunity to potentially meet in person before they even come to Thunder Bay or come to Aurelia. So it's really exciting to see the conversations happening on there. So I do encourage you to follow us and join that group. We have an Instagram, Lakehead International. We have Twitter, Lakehead INTL, and we have a YouTube, Lakehead University. And we do have 2 playlists on there, Lakehead International and Lakehead International Lives. The Lives playlist is where all of these webinars are pre-recorded and uploaded after the fact, so you can watch again, answer, and ask questions as needed. And to end off, if you do want to visit our campus virtually, we do have virtual campus tours, lakeheadu.ca/tours. I encourage you to visit and check out the beautiful scenery and landscape that surrounds both Thunder Bay and Aurelia. And also check out the building. So this virtual tour takes you inside the building, outside the building, really gives you a good idea of kind of the facilities that you'll be studying at when at Lakehead University. So I do want to take this opportunity to also reach out to my advisors and my co-host here, Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate you taking the time to answer so many questions from our amazing audience. And I hope to work with you guys in future webinars already. So that does cap off the webinar. I want to thank you, the audience, again for joining us and submitting so many questions. We were happy to answer them. Thanks again, and bye for now.